Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about how to construct a basic sine wave. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So here sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Now if this is in a unit circle, the hypotenuse is the radius and that will always be 1. The opposite is the height, which is the y value. Okay, so the hypotenuse is the radius, which is always 1. The height is the y value. So in a unit circle, opposite over hypotenuse is the same as y over r. But since r is 1, sine in a unit circle is really just the y value. So we're going to use that information to construct a sine wave. Okay, so at 0 radians, what is the height? The height is 0. It's not up at all, so the height is 0. So at 0 radians, we have a height of 0. Okay, then we go to pi over 6 radians. So that's right here at pi over 6 radians. Okay, so let's talk about these heights now as we get away from 0. Okay, so the heights are 1 over 2, and then we skipped the pi over 4, so we'll put a little spot right there. The heights are 1 over 2, root 2 over 2, root 3 over 2, and 1. Same over here. 1 over 2, root 2 over 2, root 3 over 2, and 1. And then when we get down here, it's negative 1 over 2, negative root 2 over 2, negative root 3 over 2, negative 1. So at pi over 6, the height is 1 over 2, so it's 1/2. So at pi over 6, we have 1/2. Okay, we're skipping this position right here and going to 2 pi over 6, where we are in that third position up. So it's 1 over 2, root 2 over 2, root 3 over 2. So at 2 pi over 6, the height is root 3 over 2. And then at 3 pi over 6, we're up to the top here, and the radius is 1, so we have 1 unit. So at 3 pi over 6, we are up 1. Okay, then we go to 4 pi over 6, and that is in that third position up, 1 over 2, root 2 over 2, root 3 over 2. So at 4 pi over 6, we are at root 3 over 2 for a height. Then 5 pi over 6, we are in that first position up, 1 over 2. And at 6 pi over 6, we are up 0. Okay, so then we go to 7 pi over 6, and we're in that first position down, so that's negative 1 over 2. At 8 pi over 6, we're in the third position down. 1 over 2, root 2 over 2, root 3 over 2, negative. And then at 9 pi over 6, we are at negative 1. At 10 pi over 6, we're back to the third position down. 1 over 2, root 2 over 2, root 3 over 2, so negative root 3 over 2. At 11 pi over 6, we are 1 position down. That's negative 1 over 2. And at 12 pi over 6, we're at a height of 0. So we have this wave that is started, and from there it continues following that same pattern. So up 1 over 2, up root 3 over 2, up 1, up root 3 over 2, 1 over 2, 0. So there is our basic sine wave, and now we can connect those dots and make our wave. So that is how you construct a basic sine wave. Let's answer a few little questions about this sine wave. First, what is the y-intercept? The y-intercept right here is 0. What about the domain? Left to right, this is going to keep going forever to the right. It's also going to keep going forever to the left, so the domain is all real numbers. Next is the range. The lowest y value is -1. The highest y value is 1. So it goes from -1 up to 1. And a period. Okay, so the period is how many radians it takes before it's going to repeat itself. So as I trace along, it starts to repeat after this spot right here. So the period is 12 pi over 6, which can be simplified to 2 pi.